was very pleased to see that Lauda and Aug and Aurora, another Aurora, have made a collaboration. It's funny to hear. It's funny to hear people talk, like, as they're becoming aware that it's like, you know, the thing, looking at the thing from a bunch of different angles, and then also watching your own self, you know, whatever particular embodiment you're claiming at this moment in time, where you're seeing 2 or 3 people. 3 actually makes an interesting dynamic, but when you're saying 2 or 3, maybe 4, I don't know. 4 could be a bit much. But minds try and abstract their inner into the physical. It's very interesting because it's almost like it's like Aurora, the other Aurora, the flying rainbow lasagna Aurora. It's like she says, you're hitting a pitch or a tone rather than it being pure information. It's more of like reaching a different octave. And what we're coming out of, well, one of the things that we're coming out of is the silliness of a system that is comprised of yourself, but that overtly rejects yourself, which is the consciousness and not just the material world. So we're coming out of that kind of just absolute nonsense, which is it's just kind of a game, I guess, to well, that's what Alan Watts always said. He said the universe is just playing one elaborate kind of prank on itself, and, you know, seeing if it can pop out from another corner and make itself jump. And it's always involving multiple points of view, which are in themselves, and this is what makes conversations interesting, is you're able to witness somebody's inner mental state sort of transform as they kind of like bounce these little attention laser telepathy beams at each other. You know, they're kind of bouncing off, and then you're seeing each person's inner. You're seeing a coalescence, because everybody inside is the whole. Really, it's a unique refinement of that thing that Lauda's talking about, which is, you know, the all of the all, which mind can't handle and fractures upon looking upon. But each individual human being is coalescing with their own unique flavor while they're speaking, and it's a vast process that's happening within each and every human, but it's done in such a way that we appreciate each other. We appreciate each other for being unique, basically, and we are able to be vastly complex and unfathomable and eternal and infinite, while simultaneously being just, oh, I'm human and I'm here and there's not that much going on, you know. So those are the two kind of contrasting viewpoints that are kind of grappling with each other or dancing with each other, is the idea of the collective or the whole or the all that is, and then how does each garbage filtration system called the human being. How do they filtrate creatively and collectively to make something that is perceived by the one I, or wherever that is? It's in all of us. Like if you have three people, I'm kind of rambling here, but if you have three people in the room and the conversation is kind of seamless, if it's a seamless melding of the minds, then even without psychedelics, the one mind can sort of transverse and expand past the one person bound ego structure, and it can kind of enjoy all of the personalities in the room without necessarily having to go hop directly inside of that body and say, okay, now I'm this person. My name isn't even Gary anymore, and I'm like actively experiencing what this person is, because that there's a balance to it. And of course, you don't want to be a body snatcher and go like house up in somebody else's body without asking. So it's a complex system of discovery, and we've been doing that the whole time, is discovering, and we've also been sleeping for the whole time as well. And there's also an aspect that I'm very well aware of, that there is a sleep aspect of the whole that is endless, and it is so because the accumulation of physical experience is, if there isn't a way to deal with it or a proper place to put that, kind of in what Stephen was talking about in his latest video, where he was referencing that, the archons are basically the AI that's eating your memories and keeping you in a state of amnesia, so you're not having to live this one life with direct, full remembrance of all the horrific things that you've done. And just remember that you've done all of the horrific things. I've done all the horrific things. We're all linked up. And this Akashic record, or wherever they're stored, however they're stored, the memories, there has to be a way to deal with that and still have love for the self. Because just as much atrocities have occurred, there are just as much blessings and beautiful things. We like to think that the good outweighs the bad. And, God wins in the end. We don't know. Who knows what actually happens? There isn't an end anyway, so it's how you're flavoring the moment. Yeah, it's really, at the core of it, it's exploration. And you can explore however you want. And like Aug was saying in that video, the perceptual, this moment, right? This is the moment. And somehow all of you are not here crowding it out with me, right? You're separated out by time. So now, some of you are watching this in an hour, and some are watching it half an hour, some are watching it 5 minutes. But you're not crowding out my particular moment bubble, and it's okay. Like, it's all right that everybody isn't sitting in the same room. It's all right that we don't all like each other. It's all right that sometimes we hate existing. It's all right that sometimes we love existing. Again, all of it is inevitably all right, because it's what it is. There's nothing else to do about it. Fundamentally, there's nothing to do about it anyway. And it does always, of course, come back to love, because if you're an eternal being, then of course, what else could there possibly be? You gotta sprinkle some hate in there and some bigotry and things like that. But anyway, just just some thoughts. Hope everybody's doing well. Peace.